This happened at Owerri to a young girl named Amaka. She was in SS2 then when a math teacher, a young man of 26 years old, started getting very nice to her. And that's because she was intelligent. You know those students are always raising up their hands when there's questions. So yes, the math teacher started liking her. The other students were always bullying us. And only you. So yes, it meant a lot to Amaka that, okay, even though all these people are bullying me, at least the math teacher liked me. Amaka was a crybaby. When the classmates bully her, trying to push her, say a lot of bad things to her, she's always crying. But whenever she sees the math teacher, she feels relieved. Whenever the math teacher gives assignments and some people didn't do it, including Amaka, oh, he's going to flog the other people. But no, he will not flog Amaka. So this teacher-student relationship started. The math teacher would call Amaka to his office, send her on errands, and once in a while tell her she's beautiful. Fast forward to when they were taking their SS2 third term examination. During the last paper, the math teacher called Amaka and one of our classmates to his office. He sat them down and told them to come over to his apartment on Saturday to help him mark some scripts. Now, honestly, in some secondary schools, this used to happen. Whenever teachers have so much workload, they just pick the favorite students, maybe the very intelligent ones that they know, and ask them for help. So yeah, it wasn't a strange request. So Amaka and her friend, they were excited. Say, out of everybody, now we math teacher choose. So the math teacher collected their phone numbers. This particular Saturday came. Amaka had a bath. She lied to her mom that she was going to a youth fellowship, and then she went over to the math teacher's house. Well, she lied because she knows her mom very well, and she knows the mom won't let her go. So she had to say something religious, which the mom was, of course, a very big fan of. Because if I tell mommy this one, she go let me go. So yes, that's why she lied. So she left the house. She called the other classmate that they're supposed to go together. That one's phone was switched off, but she proceeded anyway that, okay, the other classmates would join her there. So Amaka went alone. When she got to the area that the math teacher described for them, she called this 26-year-old math teacher, and he told her to stand by one Union Bank in the area that is coming to pick her. It took him some time, close to an hour, but he finally came and picked her. When he got there, he asked of the other classmates. Amaka said the person's number is unreachable. Like, okay, fine, it's okay, it's even good like that, let's go. And they left. They go to the math's apartment. It's actually a 4-story building. The math teacher was living at the topmost floor. So when they got there, Amaka got in. She saw pictures of the man's sisters and mom on the wall, and so she sat down. The man brought the papers. Amaka started marking the scripts. Now, as Amaka was marking the scripts, the math teacher went through the front door, went out, locked the front door from outside, and then went through the back door, came into the kitchen, locked the back door from inside, and went and kept the key and came to where Amaka is. So yes, the math teacher was making all this move. Well, as a math teacher, he don't calculate where. But then because of what he's going to do next. So he went over to where Amaka is, started grabbing her breast, things like that. Amaka was confused. Like, sir, what are you doing? And then he started, oh, you're very beautiful. I've always loved you in my class. I want you to be my girlfriend. At that point, Amaka said no. That in fact, she wants to start going. The road was confusing when they were coming. So Amaka was like, please just take me to where I can find my way. The teacher said no. Amaka got up, patched to the door. When she got to the door, she realized this is locked. That was when she was putting together the math teacher's movements from the door outside, going to the back and all of that. Through Amaka said, now she's thinking, is she about to experience something terrible? Well, the math teacher came from the back, grabbed her, started kissing her forcefully. Amaka was scared half to death because one, she has never done this before. And in fact, it was that year that Amaka just started seeing her period. So this was all a confusing space for her. Maths teacher started forcing himself on her, grabbing her, holding her with force. She's begging and crying and pleading. Maths teacher's face is literally turning to a monster right now. Oh no, he's not a sweet man in class anymore. Now he's looking all vicious, like somebody just trying to divorce someone. It became clear to Amaka at that point, she can't do anything. This man is going to have his way. He's bigger, he's stronger, and you can see it on his face. He is determined to do this. And yes, he did it. He had his way. He assaulted her. It was a painful experience for her. It wasn't consensual. He wasn't gentle. It was a terrible experience for Amaka. When the maths teacher was done having his way, so now he could notice that Amaka has been crying. She's been weeping tears. And then he started begging her, pleading. He didn't know what came over him, blah, blah, blah. Just saying all that nonsense. Amaka was wearing a bright colored skirt, so the stain was obvious. The maths teacher went to get his sister's skirt, brought it for Amaka to change into. At that point, yes, he opened the door and Amaka left. On the way to the bus stop, this man kept begging Amaka on the road, even till they got to the bus stop. And they stopped the bus. He shoved some tea fell into Amaka's hands and she left. Now, when she got home, the mom wasn't around, so she just went straight inside and hid the stained skirts somewhere under her bed. So when Amaka was sure that the coast was clear, no one is around, she brought it out, she went to wash it, removed the one she was wearing because it's not her own, just trying to fix things in the way she possibly can. Now she can't tell her mother why. Amaka was traumatized for weeks until this particular day when Amaka missed her period. But she didn't pay much mind to it. She's even inexperienced with these things because her period was a very little flow at that point. The next month came, she missed her period again. At that point, she knew something was up. Her elder cousin was even noticing. The elder cousin now called her and asked, hey, have you seen your period? Amaka said no. At that point, she had to narrate everything that happened to the cousin. The cousin, now furious, was asking Amaka, do you know his house? Amaka only knows that Union Bank at the bus stop. Getting to the man's house precisely is like a maze. You know, you branch here and branch, and it was so confusing, so she doesn't know his house precisely. So, okay, fine. The cousin collected the maths teacher's number from Amaka, called the man, explained what happened. The maths teacher flared up, said it has nothing to do with him. The next day, the cousin tried to call, the number wasn't going through anymore. So either he changed number or he simply just blocked them. Amaka was scared half to death at this point. She doesn't want the mother to find out, of course. So she started begging the elder cousin. Well, at last, the cousin came out straight to her and said, okay, fine, I can help you. And then the elder cousin went to get some pills, brought it to Amaka. Amaka took the pills. The whole process was very painful for her, but they did it in the morning when no one was at home. And just a couple of hours after she took the pill, she started having a very, very heavy flow. Remember, it was during SS2 third term that Amaka went to mark the script. So yes, the break was over and SS3 begins. Amaka refused to go back to school. She didn't tell her parents why. She just refused. She gave them a tough time, such that they had to finally change her to another school. She never heard from him again until this guy picked up the phone and called her one day. He got a number from one of her friends. He started begging her for forgiveness and so on and so forth. She's confused right now because this man that assaulted her brutally is now calling her every single day, trying to get in her good graces, trying to ask for forgiveness, trying to date her properly now. She's angry, but at the same time, she's confused. What should she do?